Hello everyone and welcome to the planet. Please subscribe for more videos.
Accommodation to the good Minister for Coffee. As of late, you have been the #1 topic of discussion in both Eastern Highlands and Simbu, and I completely salute you. Thank you.
Deputy Opposition Leader James Nomane acknowledged and saluted 4 government ministers for their efforts, but also challenged the Minister for Oil Palm if he could provide reports on implementation of policies addressing underpayment in the sector. He questioned when proper legislation would be introduced to act on recommendations from the Underpaid Oil Palm Report, emphasizing the need for urgent reforms to protect farmers and ensure fair compensation.
Honourable Speaker goes to the good Minister for Oil Palm. But whilst I have this opportunity, Minister, I would like to give our full commendation to the Marlborough government, and especially in the Prime Minister exercising his prerogative to appoint certain ministers that have been absolutely outstanding in their performance and policy implementation. The opposition not only holds the executive government to account, we give credit where credit is due too. Firstly, I would like to give our full recognition and commendation to the good Minister for Coffee. As of late, you have been the #1 topic of discussion in both Eastern Highlands and Simbu, and I completely salute you. Thank you. Through you, Honourable Speaker. Secondly, I would like to commend the Honourable Minister for Higher Education and Sports for your interaction with the institutions, for elevating the status of the institutions, for driving policy effectively. It is a breath of fresh air, and for a first-time MP, both you and the Minister for Coffee, we would like to commend you. And on that note, I would like to also take this opportunity to thank one of our political gurus, the Honourable Minister for International Trade and Investment, the Honourable Minister Maru, for effectively driving his ministry, promoting trade and investment for the country, promoting the overall profile for Papua New Guinea in the international arena. We would like to also salute the Prime Minister in his selection and appointment of these ministries, Mr. Speaker. On that note, we saw that the Minister provided a very comprehensive report, Mr. Speaker, on what was happening in the oil palm industry in support of his counterpart minister, the Minister for Oil Palm. And in that he alluded to disparity in the pricing regime for our oil palm producers, and with the potential that the oil palm industry has the potential to bring in billions of kina for revenue for Papua New Guineans. Honourable Speaker, the comprehensive report highlighted a tip of the iceberg where we saw that the East New Britain Oil Palm Limited had underpaid smallholders by 38 million. It could be more. Now, from the comprehensive report, my question to the good oil palm minister, Mr. Speaker, is when will you bring in the appropriate legislation or policy to enact the recommendations provided in this very comprehensive report provided by the good Minister of International Trade and Investment, so that we can give our farmers in the oil palm industry a fair go throughout the country? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Oil Palm.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to commend the opposition leader, Honourable James Nomane, for this very important question. Deputy Opposition Leader, Honourable James Nomane. Thank you for this the very important question, basically because oil palm is a commodity that is leading in terms of the revenue in this country. And again, I also want to commend Honourable Minister for Trade and Investment for the very important report that he has produced in regard to investigation of the oil palm development in East New Britain. Okay, for the oil palm industry, we know very well the act that has been here for the last 50 years is the Smallholder Act. The Smallholder Act only covers 5 projects in Papua New Guinea: Hoskins Project, Biala Project, Opondeta Project, New Island, and Millen Bay. Okay, because of the Smallholder Extension Service Act, the East New Britain project is not covered under that act. That is why there is no proper price formula that is derived for the projects that are developed under SABL, in which East New Britain is one of the projects that has been developed after the Oil Palm Extension Service Act. So in doing so, as you can see in East New Britain, Mr. Speaker, the development in East New Britain, so as in East and West Sepik and the other developments, are developed after the SABL and also the ILG concepts developed in Papua New Guinea. The SABL is from the Forest Act, and also the ILG is from the Land Act. So for this case of East New Britain, that is why they face so much trouble in the way the developers or the investors has been attending or been providing service to the growers. Basically because I call it as an outlaw program in Papua New Guinea. There is no legislation, there is no policy, or there is no regulation in Papua New Guinea that covers the latest developments of oil palm in Papua New Guinea. So that is why it is very important today that we basically have to have the policy, and I thank the Marape Rosso government for identifying oil palm as a commodity that will drive the economy of this country. And rightfully, now that I've been appointed minister for the oil palm, appropriately we seriously have to see and make sure we support the industry that is going to lead the economy of this country 50 years onwards. So in regard to the legislation and policy, we now have already submitted to the NEC the National Oil Palm Policy for the oil palm in Papua New Guinea for the first time on the 10th of March 2025. So for the legislation, basically because we know, as the report is clearly presented to this House, it has been derived, the price formula that is derived from the now Act, the Extension Service Act, it does not include projects as has been in East New Britain, West Sepik, East Sepik, and we have also project in Central Province. So that is why we already have a draft legislation that's going to drive our future of our country. But the important thing is that we really have to see the importance of the how we're going to deal with the oil palm 50 years and onward, now and 50 years to come. So seriously, as we can see, the 50 years of oil palm developed in Papua New Guinea, it is basically for a land settlements program that has been delivered into our country. So now that we're going to deliver the new legislation or the policy and the legislation, we seriously have to incorporate the importance of land. So land must be considered or incorporated in the way we're going to drive the oil palm into the 50 years or into the future. And again, seriously, today we have to say that the environmental aspect of how we're going to develop oil palm must be considered. So that is why we're seriously looking at how we can be able to do that. And we have already a draft, but we have to do more of consultation in which it must be have a proper consultation with the milling companies. And again, for Papua New Guinea, it is said to mention that we have only foreign companies in this country or in Papua New Guinea. That is why we have to consider the importance of how we're going to see new developments into customary land, in which we're going to have alignment with the Department of Lands with respect to the concept that we really have to take on board in the new legislation. And number two, Mr. Speaker, we seriously have to see the way, because of that question raised, or the report raised by Minister for Trade and Investment, we also see that the importance of oil palm market today is based on it is like more environmental orientated. So we see these very important agendas. One, the land. The two, the best practices, the new modern best practices in the oil palm, and also how we're going to incorporate the environmental aspect or the best practices environmentally in the new development. So that is why it will take only so small time to make sure that we accomplish the new legislation, and then we can be able to present to NEC. But otherwise, we're working on that one, so we consider more importantly the milling companies in Papua New Guinea now, and we attend to the new provinces that are going to be included in the new legislation, and at the same time consider the new areas, especially the grassland or savanna land in Papua New Guinea. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Governor of Enga Province.